first day to have everybody out there looking healthy, looking like they're ready to go?
Yeah, they've been here for a while. So, yeah, got some work done, and it's a good first day.
Did you come away satisfied with the compete level, the effort level out there?
Yeah, there were some struggles, but I thought they finished what they needed to finish. So, yeah, it was, it's our first day. It's just skating. It's a test. But, yeah, I was happy with how it went.
Tortorella and
Sean out there, and how do you think Sean looked?
Sean,
Sorry.
I didn't even watch him, quite honestly. Yeah, but I talked to him after and felt good. He struggled just like the rest of them. It's a high volume of skating, but I'm sure he was fine.
You mentioned wanting to play in as many preseason games as possible. I'm not sure what kind of plan you guys have.
I don't.
With both Couturier and Atkinson, after not having played last year, how much do you have to monitor their workload day-to-day, practices, preseason games?
I'm not going to overthink it.
Yeah.
They've put in a lot of work prior to us just starting here today, so they're ready to go. So they're going to go to business just like everybody else does. We're not going to overthink that.
Speaking about Sean Couturier in particular, obviously he was a guy who you were excited to coach last summer, then missed the entire year. How excited are you to finally get to coach him?
Yeah, I've seen him, as a visiting coach and over the years, and seen him play, and always has respected how he's gone about his business. And I'm really anxious to get him into some action, see how he acts on the bench and all those things. I have a pretty good idea how he plays on the ice. I want to see how he goes about his business, during the games, in between periods, in between games as the season rolls along. And I'm excited for him. He's been miserable not playing, and I'm really happy that he's put in all the work that he has done, and now it's coming together for him getting ready for an NHL season.
John, Owen Tippett said your message to the team was, if you think you have a spot, don't get too comfortable. How much are you treating this camp as open competition?
Oh, there's things that are wide open. Yeah, we certainly don't have all the answers as far as what our lineup is. I thought guys progressed last year. Some of our kids, especially our forwards, ended up progressing quite a bit. But it's a land of opportunity here. When you're a team that has very publicly stated that we're starting over and trying to get this right, there is opportunity. And so it's always interesting to see what happens in a camp when there is that type of opportunity.
John, you have a lot of young defensemen in camp this year, kind of like last year. Last year, Justin Braun was kind of that perfect example of what a professional at that position can be. How does Mark Stahl kind of fill that role this year?
Yeah, Stahlsy's going to be I've known him for so long. I laughed out there on the ice after. Stahlsy and I have been doing laps together for quite a few years, back in the Ranger days, and we just looked at one another. And he's going to be a mentor. He's going to be an offshoot of the coaching staff with some of the youth. Let's face it, guys. Our back end, Provy's gone, Tony's gone, Bronner's gone. It's a very young back end. Mark Stahl is going to play a major role with them, even if Mark isn't playing some games along the year. As I stated to him, he's not going to get away in the kids, as us developing the kids. There's going to be some nights he's not going to play, but he's just going to be just as important in those nights and those days leading up to games that he's maybe not playing in than he is putting the uniform on. So I feel so comfortable how he's a Stahl. He's a great pro, and it's a huge asset for us, and just to have him around the locker room.
Lappy talked about in regards to the younger defensemen. There were guys that maybe you don't know about, but they've talked up. Because of what he's told you, what the development group has told you, are any of those young D, Andrae, Grans, Ginning, who I know you got a little bit of a look at last year, are you excited just to see how they've progressed and what they can show to you, and are they ready to be NHL?
I don't know. I really don't talk a lot to people about the players that have coached them. I said this to you guys last year. I just block out the good stuff, the bad stuff. You know, we just had a rookie camp, and some guys didn't play well that we wanted to play well. Some guys played well that we weren't sure of. Really doesn't matter. It gives the guys that played well, that kind of stuck out for us. They'll probably get an exhibition game. You know, I think that's the reward. They keep on going, then progression. But we'll find out more as we start playing these games, especially when you get into the latter exhibition games. That's when you start finding out about some of these kids. So certainly no disrespect to information that I get and people talk to me, but I don't want to get clouded. I want to watch them. I want to watch how they act in situations, and then we'll act accordingly.
John, it appears that there's a lot of positivity surrounding this organization with the new regime and the moves that were made in terms of being honest. You were very honest last year, put forth such a great message to the fans. Is it nice to have the fans finally relishing the Philadelphia Flyers again? They're in your corner.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if they are. I haven't really paid too much attention to it, and I say that very carefully. We certainly care about the fans, but I'll put it to you this way: everybody came here September 1st. It's kind of a standard for us right now. Guys get in here by the 1st. We can't force them to, but they come. I like the feeling of the room. I think the room's changed. It has changed. Kevin's gone, Tony's gone, Provy's gone, and really good people. I wish them nothing but great luck with their teams, and they landed on some good teams. But our room needed to change. I think when you subtract people, it allows the room to open up and allow people to speak, allow people to maybe show who they are. That's the exciting part for me. You have Hathaway come in, great pro. Stalzy comes in, a great pro. You just go, and then you watch the room grow. That's what's exciting to me. And we've just had such a good feeling around here since all of them come in. And when, I want them in. I want them in at September. I make no bones about it to them. I've told them that. I can't force them to, but I want you in. It's not so much the practice. It's they went to a football game, cookouts, golf. Who knows what they do at night, having a few beers. That is all good stuff. And I just feel you can feel the room. I just have a really good feeling about what's going on as far as we enter camp here.
John, you mentioned about this being a land of opportunity, especially given the fact that the organization has so publicly said that you're rebuilding, you're starting over. Is your approach to coaching this year going to be different because of that public pivot than it was last year, or do you expect to pretty much approach it the same way?
I'm going to go about the same way, but I can't because this is my second year. I understand the players better. They understand me better. It will change just that way. I'm not sure who I was talking to the other day. It might have been our guys. I was doing some interviews, and I had a player. I don't do exit interviews. I always do my exit interviews during the summer, so I talk to a lot of players. I talked to one player probably about a month and a half ago, and he said, and it's a player that struggled with me. He said, I feel so much more prepared because I know what to expect. And so don't I. I said that to so don't I. Now I understand you a little bit better. So that changes it. Do you know what I mean? Eventually we'll talk about style of play. I don't want to talk about that now. I think some of our style of play has to change as you grow and you see what you have and all that stuff. But as far as coaching the players, it will change because I think there's more comfort in one another. And does it change the accountability? No. The accountability and standard of play here, that is non-negotiable. That is always going to be held to the proper standard. But relationships change because you understand one another better. So all that ends up, it'll be a little bit different.
What about your approach to getting younger players in games? Obviously, you guys had a lot of young guys last year, but last year you guys still hadn't fully committed to the idea of a rebuild. This
Yeah.
year you are. Does that mean that more young guys will cycle in and out, or is it going to be pretty much the same as last year?
Yeah. Well, I think the team's probably going to be younger. Just as you look at the layout and you look at especially our back end, that is definitely young. And we're going to have some horror shows at night at certain games with our young back end, but we're going to work with them. We're going to live through some of the mistakes and see what we have there. When some veteran guys leave, it opens up more spots for the young guys to grow. The last 25, 30 games last year, I was playing kids all over the place. And basically, I told you guys and I told the players that they're getting the time. We're going to continue to grow it that way. But Charlie, having said that, there's always a next step. See, in my mind, we were rebuilding last year. I don't care what we said or what was allowed to be said or whatever. In my mind, we were rebuilding. I think I'm going to the second step of this here. We're going to continue to rebuild, but you still have to not always fall on that part of it that it's all kids. I got to look at where Hathaway fits. Paling, where does he fit? We've got some penalty killers now that could change things. There's a lot of different things that could happen, but it's all still in the realm of we're still going through a process of trying to be a competitive team in this league. Does that answer your question? Hey, Hartsey.
6 reps of the 3 lap test. What in the world were you thinking when you went to 8 reps instead of 6?
Well,
I've
we
done
went
6 and
we
it's-
went 8. Didn't you go 8 with me?
Oh, 6. Always 6. This is the first time with 8. What are you thinking there?
Because I thought they could handle a couple more reps. And you didn't.
Piece of rope that you've had for 20
That's the same rope. That is the same rope since I started in Tampa. It goes with me everywhere. And I've been fired a few times. I always ask for the rope back when I'm out the door. So, yeah. In fact, it was sitting on my desk this morning. I was going to put it in the middle of the locker room this morning, but no, I've done it before. I just felt it's more of a test. I felt our guys could handle, and they did. You look at Cam York out there. It was an absolute horror show for him. After the second rep, and I could tell he was done. But I watched Yorkie. He finished every time, and I went to him right after. I found him right after his route through it, and it's probably the most emotion I've seen out of Yorkie. I can't tell you what he said to me about that test, but he finished, and that's the key. That's building a standard and of what you have to do. So that's my thinking. I felt they could handle it, and most of them. 6 is hard, Hartsey. You've been through it. Yeah. 2 more, why not? And they went about it the right way. So
Don't
yes.
be surprised if it's gone next camp.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Good. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, John.